right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Herman Voiter, and I'll be your host this morning. Firstly, I would like to thank you for taking the time to join us this morning. I trust that you will take away some useful information from this webinar. Secondly, I would like to thank Wendy Alberts from the Restaurants Association for giving us the opportunity to engage with you. To ensure that we have a good meeting, please note the following. Google Chrome is the best browser for this meeting platform. Meeting is being recorded and will be posted on our YouTube page afterwards. Please mute your microphone and keep it muted for the duration of the webinar. Please ensure that you can see the presentation by clicking on it in the top right-hand corner of your screen, if it's not visible at the moment. If you'd like to ask a question, please note the speech bubble on the top right-hand side of your screen if you're on desktop, or the text bar at the bottom if you're on a mobile device. Please type your question in this space if you want to ask a question, and we will answer it at the appropriate time. Our presenters today are John Hennin and Carl Gripnitz. John Hennin is a chartered accountant and a senior audit partner with more than 30 years experience. John has been a registered senior business rescue practitioner since 2011. He's also a registered auditor and a tax practitioner. John is also a former restaurant owner. Carl Gripnitz holds a master's degree in finance and is a fellow of the Institute of Company Secretaries. He's been involved in 42 business rescues as practitioner or advisor and has restructured 73 businesses as a principal since 1995. Carl is also the co-author of a book on business rescue called Business Rescue and Compromise Office. If you'd like to find out more about our team and what we do, please visit our website at www.gnacompass.com. And I'll hand you over to Carl Gripnitz.
You know, I just had a thought. I don't know if any of you have seen, what is it, Apocalypse Now, where those helicopters came in and they plays Wagner's the Race of the Valkyries or something. I think that's what we must do next time when we do this. Ta-da, ta-da, and then we get going. Just making a joke. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. I want to start off by saying what we are facing at the moment is unprecedented. I was saying to somebody the other day, in war, assets are destroyed, but there's production. So on the one hand, while you destroy assets, at least you're building equity because you're producing like crazy for the war effort. Problem with coronavirus is that the assets are not being physically destroyed, but what is busy happening is we're collapsing the equity in our businesses. And by default, because the equity is collapsing in the businesses, that's why our asset values are collapsing. The problem is with the modern day processes of how credit provision works in terms of the banks and various other things, we have a concept of what we would refer to as called systemic risk. And this is true for restaurants, it's true for everything. So having said that, what you're facing today is you're sitting with a business that is needing to trade, it's volume driven, and because you don't have the volumes, either you have opened the business or not opened the business, you need to make payments. But the payments that you have to make is to the landlord, who still wants his rent from the period of during the lockdown and going forward. You have suppliers that you owe money to that was previously paid, which you haven't paid since lockdown started. The bank is wanting their payments, and even if they do tell you that there's a moratorium, they're going to come collecting on their money. And then you have the problem that you have to keep your salaries and wages paying. So what is happening is you're literally using up your equity component to build, to keep the business alive. At the same time, you have zero turnover. On top of all of this, you need working capital to go forward. So what we have is we have a way of managing these demands, various little demands or not little demands from various people. What we bring to the table is the ability to systemize and come with a structured way of managing this. Will you give us the next slide, please? This presentation shows something interesting. So what you will see is the line is the revenue line, that dark blue line. Now, if you look at the gray areas, you will see you have a fixed cost, you have a variable cost, and you have a break-even cost. And the problem is, while we've been in hard lockdown, you have not had any sales whatsoever. So you've been what you're having is that your business is actually running at a gross loss, because, or even worse than a gross loss, because you're not even recovering any of your fixed costs. So those losses are busy eating up your equity first, because usually that's what happens. You use up your cash or your equity, and you pay the people because you believe that initially people thought, well, the lockdown is going to be 3 weeks, so we paid the wages, and just nothing is happening. Even now, post the lockdown, and you'll see, we assume that this lockdown will last till the 30th of August, but let's assume you've started opening, trying to do the takeaway trade. The problem is that the rate at which that turnover will grow again is very slow, and nobody actually really knows what the angle of that curve is going to be. So if you look at the picture on the right-hand side, what we are saying is your assets are devaluing in value just because let's assume you own for a moment the building. Where the building was maybe worth R1 million before lockdown, the building might be worth now 750,000 or 950,000 Rand because of what is busy happening. Because simply less people want buildings, or less people want to own restaurants. The value of your restaurant at the moment is terrible because you can't sell it, because nobody can buy it. You can't guarantee how long the lockdown will last. So what is happening is you'll see that your debts increase because you keep on not paying the landlord, or you keep on not paying bank. So your debt figure keeps on growing and your equity starts shrinking. So having said all of this, you are in a very, very tight position, and this will continue for quite a while. So how can we help you preserve your cash and actually help you preserve your restaurant? Would you mind going to the next one? So there's a few things what we do. Business rescue is really, really the answer. And let me explain to you why. One, you as directors can make the decision to place your business into business rescue. You don't need a law process. You don't need lawyers. You basically come to us, we assist you, and what we do is we prepare the documents for you, it files it to CIPC, and the business is in business rescue. Business number two, it offers us the opportunity to freeze your obligations. Remember one thing, at the moment, your landlords can or may try to bring an application to recover the money, or some of the suppliers, if they have an overactive attorney and they're full everywhere around. The problem is they will want to enforce their obligations for payment. Under business rescue, the law allows us, there's an automatic freeze in terms of those, what we call pre-commencement creditors. But even once the business is in business rescue, we will be allowed to declare a moratorium to landlords. We have to produce a plan. Why is this necessary? The plan will say to the creditors and the shareholders how this plan will be sorted out. Now, one of the things we've done is we've devised the methodology of a plan where we say to the creditors, we're not going to pay you a fixed dividend. We don't know what the fixed dividend is. And as the turnover grows, Herman, just do me a favor, just go back to the previous slide and keep your little hand on it when you go to the previous slide. If you look at that area where it comes out of the loss node towards the left, this growth area. So what we do is we say to people, look, if we have 20% turnover, we will pay you, for instance, the salary is 20%, but landlords, we're not going to pay you. If we have 40% of the pre-COVID turnover, we might pay you 20% in rent, and we'll pay 60% in salaries. So what we do is we get everybody to be a part of this process while we trade ourselves out of it. What does this do? It means that we create working capital by agreement. So instead of trying to go to the bank and convince the bank to lend us the money to pay the creditors, because believe me, what we are experiencing, the banks is not our friend at the moment. Nobody's friend, in fact. They're just grabbing wherever they can get money out of it because they are very, very risk averse at the moment. So what we do is we create a relationship with creditors and staff and other landlords and stuff to systematically grow the business back into profitability. So, sorry, can we go back to that little light bulb slide again, please? The plan tells the creditors that, and we ask the creditors to vote for the plan. Business rescue ultimately is a process of negotiation. That's what it is. The plan is the framework in which we negotiate, but it's there for the creditors to say, maybe we say to the credit landlord, we'll pay 20% once we get to 50% turnover. They might want 40%, and we negotiate, and maybe we can make the figures work at 25%. But that's a form of negotiation. Once the creditors have approved the plan, we then can implement the plan. And what is nice about it, we can do it under business rescue. So the business continues trading while we're busy implementing these operations. Lastly, when this has been done and we've achieved the levels that is acceptable for the business to sustain itself, in other words, we will agree with you as the owners what you think is a sustainable turnover. It will be, of course, informed about we've gone to level 1 or whatever we've decided. Then the termination is very easy. The practitioner fills in a form, he signs it, and you're out of business rescue. Please note that there's no lawyers involved. There's no need for court cases. There's no need for the master. There's no need for anything. Go to the next slide, sorry. There's three solutions that we offer in business rescue. The first solution is we can buy you time, and we can, if you've got enough resources or your business has the ability to survive, you can grow the business by your own capital. The second one is, in other words, we declare moratoriums, we do this trading processes, but basically it remains your business. That's the one on the left. The other one is what we can do is we can create we can still buy your time to save the business through moratoriums, but we may have to find outside funding. So you might have a friend or family member or somebody else who says, I'm willing to put money into the business. Don't let them just put money into the business. Let it be through our process, because if he puts in 100,000 Rand and we declare moratoriums and stuff, it leverages that money, most probably by a factor of between 5 and 10 times. And then there's the last option. Instead of liquidating the business, we can do a wind down. We do it very quickly, very cheaply, very efficiently. 60 days, everything is done. And we wind the business down. So if you see that you're in a business that's not going to survive or not working, that's our last option. If we go to the last slide, or next slide. There's the book that we published. We are really experts on business rescue. I would like to just maybe use this little opportunity to explain why we call ourselves experts. All people that are appointed business rescue practitioners are chartered accountants. And we only work with chartered accountants and professional accountants who are registered with the thank you. And accordingly, we bring expert skills, expert knowledge to business rescues. And it doesn't matter if it's a smaller one or a bigger one. Again, what we do is professional. We understand it. We, by the way, restructuring at the moment 2 restaurants. We are busy with steel company, fuel company, property company. I forgot what else we're working on. We just finished one on fiber company. We're also busy with roof truss company and some others. So what I'm saying to you is our skill and our ability to do this. We are a sophisticated team of people that does it. If it's sophisticated, I'm not so sure. We are skilled in the actions to do this job. I thank you very much. Is there any questions?
But to ask a question, you just have to unmute yourself, and then you can ask the question. On the top right-hand side, you will see a speech bubble. We can also, engage with us in terms of filling in a form or making contact via email or telephone.
Craig, any questions from you?
Craig, just unmute yourself, please. At the bottom, there's a microphone.
If you move your cursor around the screen.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, hello, Craig. Yes.
Hello, Carl. Yeah, the question I was asking was more about the timelines of this process.
Oh, okay. The law stipulates that we have to publish a plan within 25 business days to get it approved. We generally get it done in 25 days. Restaurants, we most probably can do around about 20 days, depending on the quality of your figures. So the process of getting the plan approved is legislated to be within 25 days. So we're talking maximum 5 weeks to do it. The implementation of the plan is subject to what's contained in the plan. The whole process is basically 6 weeks to do it. Depending on how we structure the plan, we might want to maintain business rescue as a cover. So a business can stay in business rescue as much as 18 months if there's for some reason, depending on the trading conditions. The reason why we would do that is because the creditors would say, okay, we're waiting for a trade up for this period, and then the practitioner acts as effectively as the custodian of the information for the creditors to see what is happening and dividends to be paid out. So, but it's the process itself, business rescue, getting the plan done and whatever, it's legislated, 25 working days, done. Quick. Lisa, do you have a question?
Thank you.
Pleasure. Lisa? Lisa, you can either type if you don't have a question, or you can just unmute yourself and tell me. I can't see you, but I would like to hear from you.
I think the thing to do or explain is the minute business rescue happens, a minute we actually go into business rescue, an umbrella effectively is put over the business. So no action can be brought against either the company, no enforcement action can happen. And that is the benefit of being in business rescue, is that it gives the company time to have a look and see what is possible. At the moment, you're getting creditors phoning you, you're having the bank phone you, the landlords phone you. This all then gets crystallized into the plan, and it stops you having to put out little fires all the time. And that's quite a comfort to know that no one can come and attach the assets or take them away. And it gives you the opportunity to then renegotiate a period in which to revive the business and get out of it. So it's almost, I always liken it to an umbrella that goes over the company.
Okay. Anybody else for any questions?
Bhavna, anything from your side?
Nothing further.
Just unmute her. Sorry, I see people don't know where to unmute. You can unmute her, can't you?
No, I can't. So Bhavna, if you want to unmute this at the bottom, if you move the mouse down, there's a white command bar that comes up, and then there's a microphone that you just click on and it unmutes you if you want to say something. Okay, so I've posted the links on in the chat box on the right. Lisa, thank you. We see your comment there. If there are no other questions, then I would like to thank Carl and John for your time this morning. And if anybody else has got anything to ask or to add, please make contact with us, and we will put you in contact with one of our practitioners, and we can evaluate your options from there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.